James Elroy in spiritual mood. Now, are airports a gateway to sun and relaxation, or the first step towards a size 12 carbon footprint? Philosopher and writer Alain de Botton has been considering the transient nature of airport life.
Unlike most people, I've always longed for my plane to be delayed so that I might get more of a chance to spend some time at the airport. Back in August, BAA invited me to spend a week at Terminal 5, where, as a writer in residence, I might gather together material for a book at a specially positioned desk between zones D and E. I've always been fascinated by airports. For me, they're the imaginative centres of the modern world, containing all the big ideas of our time: technology, globalisation, consumerism, environmental threat, but with the added advantage that airports bring all these big ideas vividly to life. Departure halls, like railway stations, are gifts to the curious, allowing one to glimpse deep into the lives of other people without having to ask their permission or even know their names. There is the raw material for 1,000 novels in snatches of conversations and fleetingly caught expressions. Some of the trips starting here would have been decided on only in the previous few days, perhaps booked in response to a rapidly developing situation in the Munich or Milan office. Others would be the fruit of 3 years of painful anticipation of a return to a village in West Africa with 6 black suitcases filled with gifts for young relatives never previously met. But the airport also knows how to remind us of the insignificance of the individual in the vast bureaucracies of modern society. The computer doesn't care that you left your PIN number at home. It won't even change its mind if you hit it. The staff may be no less impassive, enjoying subtle games of sadism with passengers, taking out their frustrations by seating us in seat 59D, somewhere between the galley and the toilets, for the next 14 hours. Because there is always the threat that a journey might end in a fiery thunderball, airports are frequent witnesses to scenes of exceptional tenderness. Every 10 minutes, there are partings of which Hollywood would be proud. People who might have been cohabiting bloodlessly together for years remember they might love one another. Sulks are patched up. It seems most of us need the prospect of death to remember to say the important things. Once over the hurdles of security, there comes the shopping mall. If the orgy of airport retail often gets a bad press, it may be because we feel that we shop here not out of choice, so much as out of boredom and fear. We shouldn't be held entirely responsible for what we do in those minutes before departure. The prospect of a 24-hour flight can persuade even the most rational among us to buy a top-of-the-range bottle of whiskey or to get their shoes shined.
Voila.
The incongruity of pre-flight shopping might in some way be connected to the desire to maintain dignity in the face of what might be our end out there on the runway or in the skies. Perhaps we shouldn't meet our maker surrounded by yellow plastic duty-free bags. Airports are one of the few places where class is mentioned without embarrassment. Differences in wealth, often glossed over or toned down, are here highlighted in their extremes. The first shall be last, perhaps, but for a time at least they're the ones with the champagne, anticipating a flight to another continent in a chair the size of a sofa, priced the same as a small family saloon. Down on the runway, repetition lends the plane's fuselage designs a new beauty. The eye can follow a series of identical motifs down a line of dolphin-like bodies, the resulting aesthetic effect only enhanced by the knowledge that each plane has cost some $250 million, and that what lies before one is therefore not just a symbol of the modern era's daunting technical intelligence, but also of its prodigious and inconceivable wealth. So common is flight, we forget its breathtaking strangeness, how long it took us to get here, for how many centuries we used to try sticking feathers to ourselves and unsuccessfully jumping off towers. It's only really children who are allowed to be excited. Adult respectability in flight is associated with having a tomato juice, catching up on the papers and pulling the window blind down. Upon getting off a plane, home all at once seems like the strangest of destinations. How peculiar the morning light looks against the memory of dawn in the Obudu Hills. How unusual the recorded announcements sound after the wind in the high Atlas, and how inexplicably English the chat of two female ground staff seems when one has the din of a street market in Lusaka in one's ears. Even if our loved ones have assured us that they will be busy at work, even if they told us they hated us for going travelling in the first place, even if they left us last June or died 12.5 years ago, it's impossible not to experience a shiver of a sense that they may have come along anyway. So what dignity we must possess not to show any hesitation when it becomes clear, in the course of a 12-second scan of the line, that we are indeed alone on the planet, with nowhere to head to other than a long queue at the ticket machine for the Heathrow Express.
We keep hearing about how globalised and international the world is becoming, but in truth the majority of us are fated to keep living in just one place. And that's why, for all their many inconveniences, the delays, the queues, the security concerns, airports will be places that we're always drawn to and will keep dreaming about.